Hello and welcome to the Bigger, Braver Life Show. I'm your host, Angela Marie Williams. As an entrepreneur and success coach, my mission is to empower you to realize your dreams and potential through transformational experiences. The purpose of this show is to inspire your positive change by learning from a community of those paving the way to a bigger, braver life. Welcome to the Bigger, Braver Life Show, everyone. My name is Angela Williams. I am your success coach and a therapist and a speaker, and I am so excited to be hosting the show and having one of my newest and most fun colleagues, Gigi Bier, with us as she is our guest speaker today. She is a profit alignment coach. She's the founder of My Cats and Me Profit Alignment, and she helps entrepreneurs build a profitable and sustainable business that supports their lifestyle. So Gigi's framework, Catnip, focuses on mindset, pricing strategy, and money systems as a foundation for a successful business. Welcome, Gigi. Thanks for being on the show today.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Yes, wonderful. So Gigi and I met in a group for entrepreneurs, and she just brings such a fun energy and a light and has had a wonderful outlook on starting a business. So I wanted to have her share her story. So Gigi, feel free to tell us a little bit more about you and the work that you do in the world.
So first of all, I'm from Brazil. I now live in the US. I've been here for, I think, 8 years. I started my business about 5 years ago. I come from corporate burnout, and I feel that so many entrepreneurs have that experience, and it's almost that desire to work differently, right? To work from this place of doing what you love, but also having the business that supports our lifestyle, not our lifestyle to support our business. And for me, that is very, very important to move away from the hustle culture and move more into alignment, right? So when I started my business, I started as a bookkeeper, done for you bookkeeping. But with time, I noticed that my clients were paying to work with me, not for my bookkeeping skills, but for my coaching, because I see money as something super fun. And as look at our finances, it's almost like reading a book where you can understand the past, you can see where you are in the present, and you can start writing the story of where you want to go in the future. And I think that most entrepreneurs, especially female entrepreneurs and creative people that are here to be leaders, to impact, they are afraid of numbers because they were told that finances is so complicated. And it's not. So that is my approach. That's why I started my coaching. And that's why I believe in profit alignment, because I believe in setting up your business in a way that honor your strengths, honor your values, honor your boundaries, but it still supports your lifestyle and you're creating the impact that you desire. So that comes from profitability and alignment.
Love. Resonate with so much of that. On the show, we're talking about how to prevent burnout on the way to your bigger, braver life. I'm with you on that, coming from a place of burnout. And I always wanted to start my own business, but I think that push was coming from a place of I'm burned out and I can't do this anymore. So I totally hear that. We had another guest on the show that was talking about the money story, the money mindset, and all of that. And so I agree with you. I think it's a really important thing to do is take stock and sit down and say, okay, where am I at here with my finances? And we can kind of see where that came from, but also change for the future. So I'm super excited to have you get more into that. Tell us more how you're living your bigger, braver life now.
First of all, I love that concept because I feel that sometimes we try to dim our lights just to be accepted and to be a part of a group. But when we embody living our, bigger, bolder, better life, it's almost we allow ourselves to shine. And I think that to me, it came from going towards burnout from my business and it was almost like, oh, so the cycle of burnout is something that is in me, like my subconscious mind believes that I need to work to be successful.
Right.
I need to change that, right? So it came from a lot of alignment, and I came in contact with human design.
Yeah.
And that really revolutionized how I do my business, how I do my life, and the things that I say yes to and that I say no to. And it allowed for me to really be in this place of creation and be, if you guys are familiar with human design, I'm a 3-5 generator. So the 3-5 of my profile, the 3, it's literally you learn from trial and errors. So for me, it was like, oh, that's why I try so many things. And what works, what doesn't work. Like I can alchemize the quote unquote failure into lessons, right? So I feel it's almost being able to connect with my personal values, my sense of alignment, and being clear with what is my pressures and external pressures, right? Because my pressures will move me forward, will get me curious, will get me excited. But external pressures are things that I do because I think I'm supposed to, or because somebody else wants me to do. And having that discernment allowed me to really be who I am in a very unapologetic way. And for me, that it requires a lot of bravery because it's paving our own path,
right,
and doing things in the way that people don't do it. And people may say like, what you're doing doesn't make any sense, but it's just being able to trust my inner wisdom 100% and know that every decision I'm making is the right decision.
So I'd love for you to kind of give an overview. We haven't gone into human design yet on this show. I definitely want to have a full, like a blown out episode of it, because I was introduced to that concept in the past few years, and I'm obsessed. I feel like it definitely aligns and helps us understand how we best work and relate to the world, right? And all of that. So I'm a manifesting generator. So I'm like constantly like coming up with stuff. And I love that. It's fun and the creative process. But a lot of the similarities of like when I feel that external pressure, or if something doesn't feel right to me, or I'm getting a lot of input, I'm like, well, I'm shutting down, right? Because that's not, there's a block there. So trusting your inner self. And that's some of the work that I do with my clients, is really helping them to feel confident in tapping into that. I call that intuitive leadership. So they're being able to hear and trust and honor what is their gut, their intuition is telling them. So in alignment. I love all of that. So tell us, first of all, just give us a kind of quick and dirty of what human design is.
So human design is the system created by Aru, I think. And he really got a download when he was in Ibiza. And people say he was high on acid. I don't know for sure. This is what people say, but it's a mix of various ancient knowledge like astrology, Kabbalah, I Ching, and so forth, but also using a little bit of quantum physics to it in terms of neutrinos and everything else. So it comes from the assumption that we have two parts of ourselves, our design, that is the subconscious mind, like things that we have that we're not aware of, and then our personality, that is our conscious mind. And with that, it creates a chart where you have, I think it's 5 types, you have a few profiles, and you have like all this variation of things, right? That's like the quick and dirty.
Yeah.
And for me, using human design, I use human design on my money coaching because I think it's an easy, attainable foundation for alignment, right? As a generator, as a sacral generator, I know when something is right for me if I have a full body yes. Right? If I'm like, it's definitely a no for now, right? And no's can be no's for nows. It doesn't mean a no forever.
Right.
And if somebody is emotional, for instance, you are created to have all that variation of emotion. So you feel super happy, you feel super sad, and you get so excited, and you're contagious. How you feel, the entire room is going to feel this way. However, you cannot make decisions when you're in the extremes because they're never the best decisions. You need to navigate your wave. So for those people like sleeping on making a big decision is crucial, right? So like all those little things that help us navigate it. If you're a manifester, you're going to need to hire a team before you're ready because you need people to help you push you through the finish line. So like all those little things help so much, right? So like all those little things and just like a little snippet of it, but it really helps with alignment and really helps with getting that bodily sense of what success feels like so we can make the decisions to get us there.
Right. Absolutely. I love that. So for those listening, we will do a full episode dedicated to it, but this is just such a wonderful tool. And if you have the opportunity, and we can drop a link of how to get a quick profile, it's hard to go through it without having a full reading, but it is very informative and helpful to, again, help you understand how you work best in service of being in alignment and being able to shape your life in a way that's going to get you to at the next level because you're in alignment and everything's going well with that. So that's super awesome. So Gigi, tell us a little bit more about where you came up with the name My Cats and Me for your business.
I know. When I was recovering from like burnout, I was hanging out with my cats and I have 3 of them. And I was like, you know what? Like my next life, I want to be a house cat because it's so amazing, right? And they follow their cycles. They're not rushed to do anything. They're not trying to impress anyone. They're super self-confident.
Right.
They have clear boundaries and they stick by it. And I was like, oh, if I'm building a business, I can build a business with that as the foundation, right? Almost like be your own cat, like have your boundaries and stick by it. Follow your cycles. You don't need to be anybody else. It's fine to be just, your quirky, beautiful self. So it came from this longing for something different. And I didn't really know what it was. And yes, I love cats. So it was a fitting name, I think.
I love that. Yes. And I never thought about it that way, but you're so right. What a good model for how to show up, especially in a business. I grew up with both cats and dogs, and we currently have a dog, but love. That's so great. Tell us more about some of the maybe some things that you've had to overcome. I know burnout, right, is a really big one. And I talked in my last episode about how burnout can have influence from the external environment and systems, but really there is that mindset that fuels the way that we work with the world. Tell us more about some of the things you've had to overcome to reach a place where you feel good now, and maybe even some of the stuff that you're working with right now. Because I know some folks like to hear you've overcome this obstacle, but we all know life is life and it's going to come up, right? I have my own stuff and everyone has their own stuff. So it's encouraging to hear how you're working through stuff now too, if you feel comfortable to share.
No, I love that. And I feel that this is the thing that we're always going to be working on, right? Because we have our personal subconscious that dictates a lot of how we navigate life, but there's also the collective subconscious, right? So there's the cultural aspect of it. So I feel that we're constant working on awareness. I think that for me, the first thing was realizing that I was replicating same problems that I had before.
Yep.
And this is not a cool thing to figure it out about yourself, right? And because it's painful, it's looking like it was almost like, oh, I'm failing again. Oh, I'm not failing again. Let me identify. And it was almost like understand which beliefs were leading me to the second round of burnout, to making decisions because it would turn into cash instead of being like what I'm the best at doing. And working in the money industry, we were always taught if it makes money, just replicate and keep on doing. But when we subscribe to that, we're not considering our personal growth as individuals and as business owners and how our business is evolving, right? So I was like, yeah, I don't need to subscribe to that. It's not because I have a wait list of people wanting to work with me and they're willing to pay what I'm asking them. it doesn't mean I need to replicate if that doesn't bring me joy. I don't need to work with people that when I see their name on my inbox, I'm like, oh, that's not good. I don't need to do that, right? So it was like those little things, and seeing that I was subscribing for the hustle culture still.
Hey, game changers and impact makers. I'm Angela Williams, coach, therapist, speaker, and I provide transformational coaching experiences that empower you to become the authentic leader that you are meant to be. I am here to provide mindset, lifestyle, and success coaching to support you in achieving your dreams. Grab your limited spot to work with me one-on-one with a link in the show notes, and I will talk to you soon. Now, back to the show.
Yeah. My value is tied with how much I work, not how I'm working, how productive I'm, how many hours I'm putting in, how much I'm working, how much I'm making. And no pain, no gain, right? So we need to suffer to be worthy of success and good things. So it was really like understanding the beliefs that were driving me, right, and how I was getting my own way of living what I define as success for me. So it was like that realization of, okay, this is what I'm telling myself. This is what I'm doing to myself. So if I want to change the outcome, I need to change the input. So I need to change what I'm doing. So it was creating rituals that would foster what I want to be doing. And I'm big in rituals, especially when it comes with like money, like looking at your finances, because I think it adds a little bit of play and joy. And it makes something like, oh, I actually like doing this. So it was stepping back and not only acknowledging my shadow and what I needed to change, which stories I needed to change about myself, about how I believe business work, but also acknowledge my gifts and acknowledge what I'm good at, what I'm excellent at, what comes natural to me, and feeling confident sharing that with people, because I feel for me, that was the hardest part. Sometimes we are in rooms and a lot of people are yelling because they have big personalities. I am not like that. So it was almost like, oh, do I need to change who I am to be heard? And realizing that no, I just need to keep doing what I'm doing. People are watching. I am helping people. And this is my gift. So if you want my gift, I'm here to give it to you. But acknowledging that was, I think, one of the hardest things to do.
Yeah. And thank you for sharing that, because I think you had mentioned that before in a previous conversation we were in. So I'm glad you brought it up, because I wanted to just say that as you talk about your human design and the way that you operate, it's like the external noise, the external judgment or pressure, which makes us then feel like we need to change or present differently than we do. That's what stunts us. That's what stunts our gifts and our light and our ability to really do the magic. So I'm so glad that's in full awareness and you're working on that, because you have such a great energy and such great gifts and wording and everything. So I'm so glad that you're working through that too. I do want to hear an example of a fun money ritual, because I mean, we all need this, right? Like we need tons and tons of all the great money support, right? Mindset and otherwise.
I feel that the first thing is coming from a place of curiosity, because if we don't attach our sense of value with our finances, it's easier to look, right? So always be curious what is working and what's not working. That's the only way you're going to know your metrics, right? I might love a product that I have, but if it's not selling, it's an indicator of something. Maybe I need to change how I'm marketing. So like comes from this place of curiosity and always looking for solutions. That is the first thing that I tell everyone. Be curious. Don't be judgmental.
Perfect. I want to jump in here really quick, because I think this is such an important piece to highlight. There is a framework that I use, and it really talks about how we have these protective parts that come in and try to proactively keep us in control or, kind of, right, protect us from what's going on with every situation relationship. So when we are operating in being controlling, we're always striving, never satisfied, we're always kind of going after it, hustling. When we are critical, when we are judgmental, when we are all of these things that are seen as kind of more bringing that negative energy, we want to acknowledge that that's what's going on. And then we want to move into that self-compassion. We want to move into that curiosity. We want to move into that neutrality. We want to kind of take it and spin it around and look at it differently. I love that you emphasize that we're going to look at this in a neutral way. We're going to approach this in a neutral way, because once we get too attached to some of these other things and we don't have them the way that they're looking, or that we want them to look rather, then we can bring in, okay, well, let's get protective about this because something's not working. So I love that, having that neutral and supportive approach to it just right off the bat. Perfect.
Oh, yes. And I feel that because nobody's worthiness is tied with their bank accounts.
Yeah.
Because when humans just started, there was no such a thing as a bank account.
There you go.
So it's not like our self-worth as humans, there's nothing to do with our money, our possessions. It's just who we are, right? So having that curiosity, it helps a little bit because it becomes playful and you become solution finder instead of problem picking, right?
Right.
So that's what I love about it. But thinking about rituals, my personal ritual is when I'm doing my personal finances, I light a candle, I pick up a tarot card. So I do a little visualization. And the visualization is what I like doing is it's kind of like telling myself I'm coming to this from this place of curiosity. I'm open for all the downloads and positive feedback of how I can improve, because I'm open to whatever, kind of do that and visualize how I want my business to be as if it's already happening, right? So if you want to have $1 million business, visualize the $1 million in your bank account, visualize the impact, and do that for 1 to 5 minutes. It doesn't need to be long. And then I pull my tarot card, and then I started looking at my finances and do this super simple, not overcomplicated. You're tracking your income, you're tracking your expenses. Yep. That's the basic.
Yep.
That's it. And then if you have invoices you need to send, people you need to follow up with invoices that are coming to due or a little bit past due, send those emails, right? And I like to do, if you're a little bit more comfortable around it, you can do a cash flow forecast that is almost looking into what is coming up in your business in terms of income, expenses. I love having this ritual of having my desire list. So the things that I want for my business, and be very specific, have a dollar tag for it. But again, from this place of, curiosity, abundance, maybe right now I cannot afford the coach I want to work with, but she's in here on my list, and I know I'm working towards it because I will receive the information I need to get to the place to hire this coach, right? So I almost did that, and once I'm done, I write down my findings of what is working, what worked, because things work, right? So I did this thing and it worked. So how did that feel? And I think I like to tie our financials with how we are feeling, because if I do something and it makes money, but I don't feel good about it, I'm not going to replicate. But I can learn of the strategy. What was my marketing strategy? What was my sales strategy?
Right. So I'm hearing a lot of introspection. There's a lot of intention. There's a lot of proactive. There's a lot of good energy and intentional time spent on the things that you want to grow.
Yeah, exactly. And what didn't work, you do the same thing, because the next time you're going to do that thing, what didn't work, and you do things differently. Sure. So I write that down, and then I finish with another meditation and, kind of visualization, and that's it. And then I book half an hour to do whatever I want to do. So it can be reading a book, it can be going for a walk, taking a nap. So I make sure that I'm rewarding myself for doing something that it can be very uncomfortable. Even if you work in the industry, it's not always like, yay. Sometimes we can be very hard on ourselves. So make sure that you're always rewarding yourself for that hard work, and be curious. Know that, you're always learning. And this is just another business metric.
I love it. Yeah, absolutely. And, pretty much all my clients, I'm always telling them, you're being really hard on yourself. Like, how do we practice that self-compassion? And you're right. A lot of that is going to be able to look at it, detach from any judgment or that criticism, and embracing that self-love and speaking love and congratulating yourself and saying, hey, good job. You tried this. You had the bravery to put this out there. Because a lot of the things we do in our business can kind of feel like they're very personal and vulnerable to share, and because of that fear of rejection, all of that. So yeah, constantly naming the wins, learning from everything, and celebrating. Thank you for sharing that. So tell us how folks can work with you.
That's the fun part. So I do have a bundle that is called Intentional Profit, where I have my courses in. So it's pretty much how I work with people, but in a course. So I have a money mindset mastery, pricing for profit. And pricing for profit might be one of my favorite courses, because we do psychology of pricing, mechanics of pricing, and I'm adding energetics of pricing now. So what it feels good, and strategies of how to raise your prices and how to know if that is the right price for now. I have Simplify Profit First. I am Profit First certified. So just teaching how to implement Profit First in your business with all the worksheets. I love worksheets. So everything I do has worksheets. And I also have a very holistic approach to Profit First. So a little bit of the energetics behind money management to make a little bit more from like uniting the masculine and feminine energy of, business. And with that also comes the money meditation bundle, where there is meditations for ritualizing your money relationship. So that's one thing. So it's a course. And also I offer coaching. It's a 4-month container, and it's fun. It's literally led by you, and we work mindset, we work pricing strategy, offers, and implementing Profit First in your business. Those are a few of the things we can work together.
Perfect. I love that. So folks who want to connect with Gigi, we will put all the information in the show notes. You'll be able to contact her directly. Thank you so much for being on today. There's so much great information. Is there any last words, final pieces of advice, things you want the world to know?
I feel that when we talk about money, it sometimes can feel heavy. And sometimes we feel that we need to have those big, crazy money goals because that's what they expected. I feel that we need to release that pressure and do what feels good to us, but also know that nobody was born being good with money. This is a skill you can develop. And the sooner you develop, the more abundance and wealth you will welcome to your life. Because when we're ignoring things, we're not putting the energy to it. So we're not going to receive it, right?
Great point. Yes.
Starting that relationship, and start as often as you want, but always be very intentional, and don't think that you need to do every day or always this date and this time. You can be very flexible to when you're feeling your best. So you add that energy to it. So if I learn how to be good with money, you can learn how to be good with money if you're just curious enough. And I believe in you. So
love it. Yay. Thank you so much, Gigi. It was such a pleasure. I know folks got a lot of value out of this episode. Thanks for joining in. Contact Gigi, contact myself. We can work on mindset and building your biggest, bravest life. And we will catch you in the next episode.